99% of the time, it's better not to be vanilla. Go this tribe, go that tribe.
Right.
Have something to say, have a message, be strong. Don't be vanilla. Nobody wants vanilla.
Welcome to the B2B Digital Marketer Podcast, a podcast helping you to end your struggle with digital marketing, helping you to pave a new and better path to target and capture your ideal customer. Each week, we teach you how insiders and experts debunk the dreary and become engines of innovation. Now, here's your host, Jim Rembach.
Okay, B2B DM gang, we're going to have a good conversation today because I often find myself talking about the different ways that we need to be communicating with people as people in order for us to fill our sales funnel. And Itamar Shafir is going to help us do that. Itamar, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Happy to be here.
All right. So before we get into this discussion, because today we're actually going to talk about the 5 musts of B2B marketing funnels. Okay, so when we start talking about these 5 musts, what we're talking about is that unique way we need to touch, connect, interact so that we can convert. But before we get into that, if you could, please tell the B2B DM gang a little bit about yourself and your expertise.
Sure. So when I started more than 20 years ago in the marketing game, I used to have my own marketing agency selling to high-end businesses, big businesses. It started actually as a secondary marketing research company. It evolved into a marketing agency. Then when Facebook started, we started selling Facebook apps and doing more development. We spinned off a marketing automation company called Upforma. It was the first Facebook Innovation Competition Award winner. Was acquired 5 years after. And today I'm the CEO of Umbrella, which is a company that powers marketing agencies. And our agencies work with mainly small businesses in B2B and B2C as well.
Well, as you were talking, I started thinking about, and even from our discussion preparing for what we're going to talk about today, is I started hearing and thinking about your ability to connect better with our ideal customer profiles and targets. And to me, that fits into with what we're going to talk about today. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Are you talking about my personal ability to connect with that target audience?
Completely.
Exactly. So everything that we do in Umbrella is basically powering our agencies, is about doing fulfillment for agencies of small business marketing campaigns, whether it's B2B or B2C, generating leads for our agencies, meaning helping them get clients and training them. So that's what I do all day, every day, is just talking about different marketing and prospecting and selling processes.
Well, the thing is, when you start talking about that, I think the lure and the sexiness, of starting your own marketing agency is pulling a whole lot of people, into the space. However, when you start talking about the level of complexity that has just, been 20, 40, 60 times X'd, because so many, especially B2B organizations, are now trying desperately to get more clients and customers and build brand and do all of the things that they need to do in order to survive, not just thrive, is you have a different, level of quality of individuals who can actually handle the roles. Also, too, when you start looking at, it used to be that, for example, John or Mary, could take care of everything that we need. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
So talk to a little bit about, when you start looking at the lure versus the impact.
Completely. I think first off, it helps for you as a business to understand some fundamentals about marketing. It will help you negotiate a conversation with any agency or consultant you want to work with. Second, like you said before, many times your consultant today, your marketing, fractional CMO, or agency, however you want to call them, depending on your budget and your size, would be that. It would be a person that is crafting a strategy, directing, but many times the fulfillers could be many different outsource agencies. And because, like you said, only in digital marketing, not even taking traditional media, only digital marketing in of itself, you probably have 50 different marketing tools, traffic engines, conversion units, and tactics a business can use, you can drown just in that ocean. Not taking into consideration mailers and posters and events and many other things that mainly B2B companies are doing. So you definitely need somebody who has the ability to understand marketing well, understand your target audience and how to get you into a better ROI, and can work with a lot of different vendors on the fulfillment side. So that's the way we talk with clients today. That's the narrative.
Well, and that makes sense. I mean, and it, for me, when I start talking about the complexity, finding the right ones isn't, as easy as it used to be, because you have to have some basic understanding and knowledge in order to even ask the right question, right? And so that kind of leads into the discussion that you and I had in order to come up with our 5 musts that we need to have for our B2B marketing funnels. And so of the 5, the first one that you had conveyed is something that maybe a lot of people are familiar with, and I would dare to say are, and oftentimes maybe that's the only one funnel they think about, right? But that is branding, social proof, and trust. So talk a little bit about that first funnel.
Yeah, so it's the first step of the funnel, meaning if you want to start promoting, whether you're investing in advertising online, sending people to a lead magnet like a white paper, we'll talk about that a little bit. Before you even do that, who are you promoting? You're promoting a brand. So does that brand have social proof in place to be relevant for the audience? I'll give you an example from the agency world. Let's say I'm an agency, a marketing agency. I want to start working with a business. I'm in B2B, right? And I'm coming to that business and I'm saying, hey, you know what, Mr. Attorney, I could do the best marketing for you. And the attorney turns around and he says, okay, show me, what have you done before? It's a simple question, right? So for agencies, case studies, testimonials, and reviews are a trust factor. You have to have them on your website. And for other companies, could be certifications, awards, and also testimonials and reviews. So I'm saying, get your ducks in a row where it comes to branding before you start marketing, because it will affect your conversion. You send 10 people to your website that doesn't have a social proof, 0.5% will convert. You send 10 people to your website that has very strong social proof, 1.5% converts. You think about it, you don't see a big number differentiation, but it's 3x. So branding will completely affect your ROI. So reviews, can't be a business today that doesn't have good reviews. Testimonials, if you're heavy B2B, if you're super niched, you have to have those niche case studies. If you are part of organizations and associations, put their badges on your website. If you're B2B, BBB accredited, do that. If you want awards, and now you're thinking for yourself, no, but I'm not participating in anything. So participate, pay them, and get that badge. If you don't have, if you maybe you're not doing podcasts, you're not putting your face out there, you're not getting your name and reputation out, do that. Take all that material and make sure that your conversion unit, whether it's the website, a landing page, or wherever people meet you, have that strong social proof. So that's the first bucket.
Well, okay. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you. And for me, going back almost 20 years ago, I was forced to use digital in order to fill my sales funnel because of the organization that I worked with, and was told, well, hey, I'm paying your salary, fill your own sales funnel. I'm like, what? Right. How am I going to do that? And so I could have left, I didn't, because of a couple different reasons. I dug in, I started learning what, quite frankly, the B2C people were doing. How are they actually leveraging this digital, world in order to be able to generate sales? And so I started doing a lot of things that people in the B2B world just were not doing. But I was a sales guy. I was a sales guy that had to do it. And so it worked. But then as I started seeing us getting into 2017, 2018, 2019, I started seeing those conversions dropping of the things that had been working for a long time, primarily because just the amount of additional attention competition in regards to the B2B space, that the conversions were just, slowing down. So So I started podcasting like 8 years ago. There's no way I would do it now. Ain't no way. I mean, because you talk about pre-COVID, there was 1.4, 1.5 million podcasts in the Apple Podcast library. Now there's almost 3. Right? Because everybody and their mother's doing podcasting. So I wouldn't do it now. So if you start looking at the mass ecosystem of all the possibilities, I ain't got that kind of money. I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't got that kind of effort. I need to be more succinct, streamlined, so that I can get to conversion faster and not compete in the bloody ocean of everybody else who are my competitors. And I'm talking about attention competitors, right? So how do I do that?
So I think that's where USP and the actual prospecting tactic comes into place, where you can have your special thing, your hacks into the market. Just to say one word before I move into that, the branding is the minimum that you need to be in the game. Let's say if it was dating, right? You wouldn't consider some people at all. Like, well, I think like a man, so I think maybe a woman wouldn't consider me. If let's say a guy is sleazy or completely derelict, he's not even in the game. This is not a consideration. Date 1 is in the game. It's not going to end up in the marriage if you're not good, but date 1 is in the game. So to be in the game, you have to be in par with the people that are playing. You can't be below because people judge you. So that's what I'm talking about by having that social proof in place. Okay. Then you're going to the market and you have different prospecting. Okay. And depending on the type of company that you are and the type of budget that you are, let's say you're a solopreneur in B2B, or you're a salesperson in a B2B organization responsible to generating your own leads, you're probably doing LinkedIn reach outs. If you have a bit more budget and leads are generated for you, maybe it's LinkedIn advertising and Facebook advertising with a white paper. Just to make sure that the listeners understand what I'm talking about, when I'm saying lead magnet is you advertise something that is of interest of the target audience that you want to engage with. So let's say it's HVAC companies, just as an example, or if you want to give me a different example, I can roll with anything. For HVAC CEOs, maybe a white paper about the 5 different ways, the 5 new approaches to HVAC operations in 2023 is something that is very interesting for them. Maybe if you're in the gold industry, something niched for, gold industry people. You advertise that. That's very important for them to read, and they download. And to download that information, they give you their contact details. That's when the initial lead is generated. So if you're talking about advertising funnels, I'm going to talk about 2 funnels: direct approach, me on LinkedIn talking with somebody, and advertising. Advertising would use some form of lead magnet or white paper. The download generates a lead. Then there is a follow-up. There are 2 types of follow-up: an automation follow-up that needs to happen, email going to that lead, starting to inform them about the conversation that we want to have there. But key, an SDR calling immediately to the lead, immediately and all the time after, qualifying them and booking an appointment for the sales rep. Key part. If you're doing your own LinkedIn marketing, then you can have different approaches. It's a longer game in LinkedIn. So you initially would find your prospects using Sales Navigator, for example. You define them. For people who don't know what Sales Navigator is, it's a LinkedIn feature that allows you deeper research into the leads and filtering. So, for example, you can go by company size, location, position that they work in, and an industry that they work in. So, HVAC CEOs, like we said before, and HVAC CEOs also have groups. So you would join their groups and you would start interacting with their content and eventually reaching out to them. I like the video reach out. I don't think it's being done too much. So it's one of my favorite approaches. personal video, especially if it's high ticket sales. You can do a little personal video. Why did you approach them? Analyzing their problem and the solution that you can provide, and talking if this is a good time. There are also out of digital prospecting that I really love where it comes to high-end tickets. So for example, hosting a luncheon. I think it's one of the best things where when you're working with a very a specific subset of people, for example, just IT people, or just ops people, or just CEOs, or just VP of marketing, where you can create a little community. Then you can host a launching of 10 leading VP of marketing, if I'm interested in VP of marketing, and invite everybody to the launch, and you're the host, and you build a little community. It's not even a mastermind yet. It's just Friday lunch or breakfast. So those are optional as well. Going back to and you stop me anytime if you think I'm going too far down the funnel, because we talked about a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are prospecting options, but I just want to say, whatever prospecting you're doing, at the end of the day, if you don't have a unique selling proposition, then you'll be a little bit stuck. It's like with the branding. You need to be special.
So, I mean, a USP, a unique selling proposition. If I start thinking about that, is oftentimes it does come also back down to that, ideal customer profile, and looking at it in regards to their viewpoint versus our viewpoint. A lot of times when I ask somebody about their USP or something along those lines, they really start talking about features and benefits of their solution or service. I don't think ICPs convey, talk, receive in that type of terminology, do they?
No, definitely not. Well, it can include that. It can include a feature set. I'll give you an example from the marketing world. SEO. I think most people know what SEO is today. It's the process of ranking your website on the first page of Google. It's search engine optimization. Most companies sell the same type of SEO. Umbrella members sell pay-per-result SEO. We'll get you on the first page of Google. You don't pay a dime. It's easier to strike a conversation with that offer than with we just do SEO well. Because there's only a limited number of people who would take on the risk of not getting paid until they rank you. And it also goes to show how expert you are. I'm not saying you should give stuff away for free, but it's just an example. So I think USP can be product related. It can be product related, but it can be priced and unit related. But a USP can include a bundle of those things. And when you're talking about relationship selling, a unique selling proposition is also part of your personal narrative, in my opinion. Heavy B2B, meaning high ticket B2B, like we talked about before, is very, very much a personal sales game. It's very much dependent on who you are and if they like to work with you. You become part of the USP. Are you unique? Are you, because it's even less about what you're selling. It's about you. They're buying you. And once they're buying you, then okay, what's your unique selling proposition? What's your personal brand? I met some people that have different personal branding that they have chosen for themselves over the years. I don't have a lot of tips to give about that. Maybe I can give you a couple of examples if we have time. I don't know. Maybe we'll open up the ideas. So there is I won't mention his name, but there is a very famous sales coach that I talked with several times, and he decided that he wants to brand himself in a special way. He charges $25,000 or $30,000 for training your sales rep to be a sales warrior. And he took that word warrior and he took his office. He changed the entire office into a war room. He has like armors and things from the Roman period and a samurai sword. So when you go on Zoom with him, you see all the warrior stuff. He changed all his product line to something warrior. And the way he talks, you would think you're talking to a warrior. He's direct, blunt, he's a nice person, but he wears that well, that warrior aspect. So that's one example of personal branding that would go, it's not really a USP, but it will go into your personal USP. I have an acquaintance in the e-commerce world called Norm Ferrer, but everybody calls him Norm the beard guy. He has a giant boss-like beard, and you can't miss him. So those are a little bit elements of being unique when you're going into a sales, when we're going into conversations. I think you can give much more tips on that. You're the expert on that. It's less, I'm more from the digital online marketing side. So again, USP, have a unique selling proposition for your product. At the end of the day, it could be pricing, features, set, mainly benefits. Have a unique selling proposition that is part of you because they're buying you as well.
And a lot of people may think when you look at it from maybe a more conservative business approach, say, maybe I'm selling, some type of, conservative type of solution, or I have a conservative ICP. It still comes down to the whole relationship component. And I would dare to say that you have to take that into consideration. So like, for example, would a financial services organization be hiring a warrior salesperson? Maybe not, but that's a risk you're willing to take, right? Yeah. And you just have to essentially, we've kind of said this a little bit, find your tribe and find your niche and, be successful within that. Okay. So going back to the 5 funnels that we need, in regards to the 5 must-haves that B2B marketing funnels, thinking about it from a strategy perspective, we talk about brands, social proof, and trust. We've talked about unique selling proposition, and then you talk about traffic units. Elaborate on that a little bit.
I will. I just want to add one more thing because what you said just turned on a light bulb.
Sure.
Regarding personal branding. You said, somebody might not want to work, a financial institute might not want to work with the warrior salesperson. I agree with you. But it goes to something that is really important in marketing. 99% of the time, it's better not to be vanilla. Go this tribe, go that tribe.
Right.
Have something to say, have a message, be strong. Don't be vanilla. Nobody wants vanilla. Right. You won't find your persona that way, your target audience. So, okay. So we talked about branding, USP, traffic units. We already touched on that a little bit. I mishmashed that into the USP before. So traffic units can be Facebook advertising going into download this white paper about something. It could be Google Ads doing the same thing. It could be your salespeople doing direct approaches on LinkedIn with personal videos, and it could be hosting a luncheon. These are all different traffic units, and obviously, we also know the offline events that we all go to. Conference events are very important, especially for B2B. Webinars are very strong for B2B. And get us tremendous results. For those of you who don't know what a webinar is, it's an online event, a live online event that you present something I think most people know today. And then you also get the opportunity, because it's live, to interact with some people and answer questions. It's very much like timeshare people used to do. They still do. It's super effective. It's super effective. And it's a great sales tactic because we also sell on webinars. B2B online webinars can produce sales or leads to sales of high 5-figure sales because people get an hour opportunity to go through a journey with you. All the information, back and forth questions, pricing, detailing, everything. If they stayed until minute 60, something is interesting for them. They could have left at minute 5, minute 10, minute 20, think about it. It's a long time to stay with somebody. then they're staying for the pitch. That means they're interested. If you have their information, even if they don't buy immediately, you follow up, they're interested in something that you have to say. That works very well. That we can transition from that to conversion units, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So we talked about, we also touched on that as well. So a traffic unit would be, for example, a Facebook ad. Download the 5 musts for HVAC CEOs in 2023. 5 marketing musts for HVAC CEOs in 2023. That would be the ad. The conversion unit would be the page presenting the guide that the audience would download. It would have some sort of form. It would present some information about the guide. Then the user will fill in that form, click download, and an autoresponder would send an email with the download to their email, and you will have their contact information. So that's a traffic unit, a conversion unit. A conversion unit is also an SDR. So if we take another example that we talked about before, lead comes in, SDR is calling the lead, qualifying the lead, they're converting the lead from a lead into an appointment. So in digital marketing, you have cold traffic that with the ad would create some awareness. The awareness transitions into a lead when that user provides information after they download the lead magnet. There is a follow-up with the lead to book an appointment, which is the second conversion. And then the final conversion would be a sale that is dependent on the salesperson. So many businesses that I know have tried different marketing tactics, traffic units, and because they don't have optimized conversion units, they said, that doesn't work for me. Facebook doesn't work for me. Google doesn't work for me. Guys, they work for everybody. Those are like the 2 types of traffic that would work for it, depending on your business. Either Facebook fits your business or Google fits your business. If something is broken, it's the rest of the funnel. It could be that the advertising is not good. Could be that the ad is not good, but it's not the media. Google media is excellent. Facebook media is excellent. So it could be that the entire funnel breaks with your sales rep or with your SDR because nobody's listening to their calls and they're not qualifying properly. So when we're talking about the 5 musts, right? So why do we call it musts? Because if any of these buckets have a leak in it, ads are not good, ROI is down. Conversion unit into a lead is not good, ROI is down. Sales rep is bad, ROI disappears. Follow-up is bad, ROI reduces. So building a funnel, building a marketing campaign, not a marketing campaign, a funnel, means that you're losing money. You're actually losing money if you don't get all these 5 buckets working properly. So that's
okay. So now you mentioned the last one, which is the follow-up. Okay, so I got branding and social proof trust. I've got unique selling proposition, traffic units, conversion units, and then follow-ups. Now, for me, when I look at a lot of the B2B lead gen work that I'm doing for my clients and the strategies that we're putting together, is I think the latest number was that we have to have 21 touches before we actually, get the opportunity to connect with somebody at a deeper level than beyond superficial. Is that the follow-ups, they do fall flat on their face. And I think oftentimes, if you say, what is the number one leak? To me, it's probably there. I mean, what do you think?
I think you're 100% correct. Follow-ups are extremely hard. They're also hard for the lonely sales rep. They're hard. It's hard for sales rep to follow up 20 times, even though they need to, because they have fresh leads coming in all the time, and they're always looking for that silver bullet. It's just human nature, and it's easier sales. So I've done sales myself, so I can't blame them. That's why we're talking about buckets. The follow-up bucket, you need to take a look at 2 things. If you have a very sophisticated B2B campaign that you're saying, look, I don't want to even discuss with somebody. I don't even want to talk with somebody before the lead score is 75. How do I know their lead score is 75? because they touched with 5 content pieces over the past 30 days. Fine. I'm not getting in if it's the right marketing tactic or not. That's for your marketing manager, fractional CMO agency to decide. Assuming that's the right way to go, then the entire system is looking at that KPI. 5 touch points with 5 content pieces, fine. All the guns are pointed there. What does that mean? It means the follow-ups become a central part of the campaign. It's not just an automated email after a lead came in that it started sending a drip campaign. It's not just SMS follow-up or voicemail drop follow-ups that you need to do anyways. It's SDR touch points. It's dedicated email campaigns. It's webinar invites. It's deck sends. It's invites to live events. It's Christmas greetings. It's a lot of things. Those are hard campaigns. This is like a big thing in of itself. That's why I love SDRs. I have to tell you, my experience with a good SDR team, they make 200 calls a day. So and they're not very costly. And it's a human reaching out to you. And the human doesn't need to reach out to you and immediately go into setting up an appointment. No, if the marketing manager decided, the agency decided that you need 5 touch points before I'm going to talk to you, then take those 5 touch points into 5 qualifying points in an SDR conversation. Or an SDR can call and say, hey, we saw that you read this and this. We want to invite you to a special webinar with us. We saw that you read this and this. Would you also be interested if we send you this and this? Oh, you would? Okay, I'm going to send it to you now, and I'm also going to send you a text with it. The call from the human being, the attention span that you're getting for a couple of minutes, and the ability to understand and qualify another point is, I can't say priceless because it has a price on it, but they're worth their weight in gold as in the follow-up process, in my opinion.
Yeah, I as you're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about a lot of the programs that we have running, and I've had this situation occur where, as we go through the design process and the implementation process, the communication and the conveyance from the client perspective is, oh, we will do these and we will do these follow-ups and all this will happen. And then it doesn't. And then it becomes, well, the system's not working. I'm like, really? So what we decided to do is like, you know what? It's not even an option for clients to do it because and this goes back to what we were talking about from a funnel perspective and from a systematic perspective. If it's not tight, if you can't add velocity to it without things flying all over the place, you're talking about that conversion, the sales velocity. I mean, all of these key core metrics start falling by the wayside really darn fast, and people can't understand why. It's like, look, you broke the system.
Yeah. 100%.
Don't break the system. Work the system. And to me, that's when I start thinking about your funnels and these must-haves. I'm like, work the system. Have a good system and work the system.
100%. If people can't imagine it from a marketing perspective, they can maybe think about it as we're talking about 5 steps. Think about 5 bridges. And a car needs to get from this point to this point. It doesn't matter which bridge is open. If one of them is open, the car will fall. It really doesn't matter. So even if you got an awesome campaign with your digital marketing advertiser on Facebook, but the SDR, sales, and follow-up are broken, you have done nothing. You just wasted money. Actually wasted money. So to business owners, take some time with your marketing manager, with your agency. Think about this in advance. Decide on the core KPIs that you need. And then make sure that you can put everything in place, even if it's a small buckets, because you don't have a lot of budget, but they all need to work. And then, like you said, once they all work, you can scale.
Definitely. Get it to work, make it add velocity, and then add scale.
100%.
Itamar, Shafir, thank you for really opening up our mind and eyes. And you actually did a good job of saying, okay, let's look at the basic and simplistic, and then how do we expand this? And I appreciate that. But how does the B2B DM gang get in touch with you?
They can go to umbrellaus.com. And if they want to get in touch with me personally, my email is Itamar, that's Itamar, at umbrellaus.com.
Itamar Shafir, thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Thank you for joining us. Go now to join the B2B DM gang in the B2B Marketer LinkedIn group, where you can connect with other B2B DM disruptors and get access to our B2B DM cheat sheets, checklist, and guides. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, please help by going to iTunes to rate, review, and subscribe. And share the show on all of your digital platforms. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode. And always remember, you can automate your lead capture, but you must lure your lead.